Well, first of all, thanks again for the award yesterday. Fantastic. We really, what an honor, and Ray. But hemp beverages, just like all the products in the wine, it's all about the customer. It's about the consumer. And the consumers are the ones that are asking for hemp-based beverages because of the experience they have. This is now an adult beverage category. We need to think about ourselves as adult beverage wholesalers, adult beverage retailers, and it all comes together, whether it's a beer tonight, or a glass of wine, or a glass of bourbon, or an adult hemp beverage. So, and we have to look at then the evolving legal and regulatory situation, state by state by state. The federal government has allowed it through the Farm Bill 2018, but each state has their own myriad of laws, and we had to sift through those with our legal counsel to make sure we got it right. And that's key. We got to get it right.
Well, it's so interesting. I grew up 3 generations in wine and spirits, so this is truly new to me, and I have no understanding of that consumer. What is he thinking? So I'd love to hear from you. What are the lessons you've learned now selling this category of beverage? Are they the same wine and spirits customer? Is it a different customer? Do they go into the wine section, then the liquor section, into the hemp section? Or no, they just walk in looking for hemp beverages, the wine people look for wine. Tell us a little bit about what you've learned about this consumer, and how has it changed since you started selling it?
That's a really great question, because we've been learning as we went along. And we have a lot of, at Total Wine, we have a lot of data scientists. And so they'll tear apart, the information and see what the product adjacencies will be. We buy an X, what else do they buy? And the number one thing that a hemp customer buys also is Pinot Grigio.
Interesting.
I'm not sure everybody would have got that one.
Never.
But we also found out they're buying Bud Light, they're buying bourbon, tequila, they're buying a little bit of everything. And so it's a very typical consumer, but one that skews a bit more female, because of low calories and low carbs, and want to try a different adult beverage. Maybe it's their life, they're saying Chardonnay is great, but tonight I want to try a hemp-infused beverage versus lots of alternatives. So it's everybody across the gamut, races, ages. It's not the young customers, it's all the demographics on the age level, right up to seniors. And we saw that in Texas when there was a temporary movement to slow down what the consumers wanted. The people that stood up and were counted were seniors. And seniors said, having maybe one hemp beverage at night, I sleep a little bit better. And that's a good day. And we also saw veterans. So this coalition, it's very, very broad. I mean, the Veterans of Foreign Wars came out and said that if there was a prohibition in Texas, it would be devastating to our veterans. So they're all in. But we also see soccer moms, the Pinot Grigio drinker, the Chardonnay drinker.
That really is fascinating. Thank you. We'll get into the federal and state laws in a second. But could you sort of describe the size of the prize? What do you think this category is going to be if continue to be legal? 3 years, 5 years? What are we talking about?
Right now, the hemp beverage business is about, a lot of numbers you see, I believe the number that's accurate, is about $1.1 billion. That's where we are today. It's nascent. It's the very, very beginning. We're at the moment like when prohibition was behind us, and we're all just getting started. And we are merchandising it, I think appropriately, by not saying it's just here in the hemp beverage section. It's over there on displays in the Chardonnay section. It's on displays in the tequila area. It's in bourbon. It's all over the store in different locations, so we learn who that different customer is, so we can broaden the business as much as we can, because Charlie, as you know, and all of you know, we're facing some tough times right now with beer, wine, and spirits. And it's tough to get business. So this is what consumers are choosing. Consumers are saying an alternative, a different adult beverage. And that's what we found with hemp. I think the size of this prize could be between 20 and 30 billion dollars. That means you're going to have beer up here, then you're going to have spirits, and you're going to have wine, and right behind that could slide in hemp beverages.
Fascinating.
A lot of money.
A lot of money. So, one of the concerns we all have, is that if this product isn't properly regulated, and right now hemp is not regulated, the problems that it could create for the industry as a whole. And just curious about what you think about both federal and state regulations. How do you plan to advocate for regulation? And is this, should it be part of the three-tier system? And if not, what should it be? What should it look like?
I mean, we've got tremendous regulations all over this country where the three-tier system works with law enforcement. We have ways to say, this is DUI, this is an issue. So putting hemp beverages is the common sense, the right way to deal with this product in the three-tier system. Because if it goes to the three-tier system, we already know how we measure DUI. They can walk the line. Can't walk the line, you drink too much wine, too much spirits, too much beer, that's not good. And drinking too much hemp beverages is not good. But we need to have the regulations statewide and at the federal level, especially FDA. We've got to have FDA to look at these products to make sure what's in that can or bottle is exactly what it says on the outside. And we have that in beer, wine, and spirits. We should have the same thing in hemp beverages. So we need the federal government to have those regs so the consumers have the confidence when you buy a hemp beverage that says 10 milligram, it's 10 milligram. And if you want to buy one that says 5 milligram, it's 5. And we got to hit that and hit it out of the park. And we got to be working with law enforcement also, bringing them in so they understand this is part of the three-tier system, and it's got the same regulatory framework and the same tax framework, because hemp needs to be taxed also. Some of us here say, oh, we don't want to pay taxes, but some of those taxes may need to very much go to law enforcement. And I think it's great to support law enforcement. And when I was in Congress, we always worked with law enforcement on everything we did together, hand in hand. And that's what this industry has done, the wine and spirits industry. We've all worked with law enforcement here, and we need to do the same thing with hemp. So state regulation, federal regulation, totally brought into the three-tier system, and it's just going to be so exciting the next decade what this is going to bring.
So right now, everyone's focused on the federal law in terms of getting the extension and making sure that it does get legalized. Let's talk a little bit about state law, because as you know, most of the detailed regulation of beverage alcohol takes place at the state level. I'm just curious, I know you're passionate about the federal level. What about the state level? What is your philosophy in working with us at a state level for the right type of regulation that we need at the state level?
I think that's absolutely crucial. Total Wine has lobbying, government affairs teams, and of the 31 states we operate, we have government affairs teams in probably 20, 25 states. So all the states where there's evolving regulation on whatever it might be, we have a team in place in that state capital, lives there, they're local, they're part of the local economy and that capital and that legislature. And then our teams work in the office with Eric Brewer, who's our SVP of Government Affairs, and he travels the country. Used to do that with Walmart for 2 decades, and Walmart has had a lot of battles, and they're all about consumers. And they want good prices, good selection, and he understands what that's about. And his best partner is WSWA. So we're working hand in hand, I mean, literally driving in the same car with the WSWA team, going to the same meetings with the same senators, the same congressmen, with the WSWA team, and when we have the state teams, bring the state teams too, because we need you in this audience to bring home the 60 votes that we're going to need to pass this 2-year extension to let us get it right. Got to get it right. I don't see us having the ability to get it right with the FDA, all the over the oversight that's needed, working with each state's input, and together to move that fast and get it where it needs to be, where it's totally right for the customer, protecting the customer, part of the 3-tier system. We can't do that. It's already February. They're going to go on recess in August, and nothing will happen after that. So we know Washington is shutting down. So we need to move fairly quickly. There's a bill now in the House. It's sponsored by Jim Baird of Indiana, a Republican, and it puts a 2-year extension on pause of what's been proposed. And what was proposed was really jammed into a vote that made no sense. They jammed into the government opening bill. Everyone to reopen government. We can't have our government shut down. And in that bill, they stuck a little bit of language, one particular Republican senator, a little bit of language that said, this is going to expire, this industry is going to be eliminated. The entire industry. Prohibition in 365 days. What we need is regulation, not prohibition. The 3-tier system brings us a perfect meeting ground of how we can regulate it. So Jim Baird's bill, I know Jim Baird, I mean, he's just a salt of the earth kind of Republican that just wants to get stuff done. And that's it. And so when we have the appropriate Republican U.S. Senator and Amy Klobuchar's come on for the Democratic side, and Senator Klobuchar really works well across party lines. And she just gets it, and she gets stuff done. Some people, they talk, and they don't do a goddamn thing. Klobuchar, she gets shit done. And that's what she does. And so to have her on the Democrat side, that's a good day, because she will work with Republicans all day long. So we need to work with you. Once we have that Republican sponsor identified, make sure everybody in the Trump White House is on board, and then we got to get this thing up to a vote. And we're going to need this audience, the leadership of all your companies, because you know your U.S. Senator in Arizona, you know your U.S. Senator in Idaho, in North Dakota, and you all know your U.S. Congressman. And they need to hear this is a big business that potentially will be monstrously bigger and employing tens of thousands of people all over the country, driving tens of billions of dollars of commerce. And this industry taking a few hits. And we need together, we got to get all the 2 tiers together. The wholesaler tier, the retailer tier. And we're leading the charge with the other major retailers in the U.S., people like Specs in Texas, ABC in Florida, and other major players. We've got them all together with us in the same tent. And WSA is with us, leading that tent. So that's how we're going to get to the finish line, but we're going to have to be united. United that regulation, 3-tier is the way to go. Prohibition, I don't think that worked out too good, did it? That didn't work out too good at all. And if we allow this thing to go the other way, law enforcement is going to have their hands full, because there'll be an underground economy that comes right up that does it the illegal way, and we want to have it done by the government, FDA, taxed, 3-tier, employing the hundreds of thousands of folks that the 3-tier system employs around this country. A huge part of the economic success. And so we've got to bring it into the system, and we got to keep the criminal nature. You guys know that if folks have an opportunity to try a 10 milligram, 5 milligram THC adult beverage, hemp adult beverage, that's a good day. But if there's nothing available, if there's prohibition, Where's that going to lead? That's going to lead to more cannabis. More cannabis, as law enforcement knows, of the cannabis in the U.S., over 80 billion is controlled by the cartels. The Jalisco cartel, Sonora cartel. I've been to Mexico City. I led a joint effort on fentanyl to stop that coming in the U.S. We did a lot of looking at the cartels from an intelligence standpoint, and they are unbelievably powerful. They do 1/3 of the GDP in Mexico. 1/3. That's why they operate with impunity. And just like we work to solve issues there with fentanyl, we've got to make sure they don't get more power. Legal cannabis in this country is only about $35 billion. So it's in 40-some states, but 2/3 of it is not legal. So we need to bring legal regulation with a hemp beverage that gives folks an alternative. If you have a 10 milligram can of cannabis, of a hemp beverage, it's going to take 15 of those cans to drink to get one joint. 15 cans equals one joint. We're about low dose, moderation, regulation.
Terrific. As a part B to that, one of the concerns of wine spirits wholesalers is that we want to make sure that legislation is passed on an even playing field, that we're not disadvantaged. Are there any concerns we have about how we could be disadvantaged in this type of new world?
Well, we need to make sure that the federal government eventually speaks on this with one voice, and that one voice then governs the 50 states. And we don't want to have 50 voices out there, because that's how we'll get disadvantaged. Some state will say only a cannabis type shop could sell a hemp-based beverage. And that's not a good plan. That is not a good plan. And we need to be really thoughtful about safety. I've got 4 children, 3 grandchildren. We want safety and regulation. And like right now in certain states, you can buy 100 milligram mini of hemp beverages. Now, we could sell that. We do not. We will not. We think 10 milligram is the top, the ceiling, and we sell 5, we sell 10, whatever folks want. But selling 100, while we could do that in many states, no way. So that's why we need to have federal regulation that says the ceiling on these beverages is 10 milligram. That's safe ceiling, and it's a good ceiling, and it's just like we can't put crazy amounts of alcohol in certain things. We have to have that all run by the government. It will be safer.
Terrific. So as we wind down here today, what is your ask of both the hemp and the wine and spirits industry as we move forward with this issue?
I've been utterly consistent in these 2 days. It's partnership, it's one team, it's retail, working with wholesale, working with WSWA jointly, and then get this 2-year extension, then help together. We'll write those regulations. They're being written now in Texas, and we'll be able to take models like what comes out of Texas, or it already exists perhaps in Missouri or Tennessee, which have reasonable regulations, and take some of those regs that are already out there, use them at the federal level, and then as a team. But we got to get this done, and we don't have that much time. The clock is ticking, and it's not 300 days left. It's really, we got to get her done, by the summer recess, or it's not getting done. We're just all out of business on hemp beverages. Now, it'll come back at some point. It'll come back because the customer wants it. So once Mitch McConnell sunsets, it's going to come back because consumers are going to want hemp beverages. Then we'll have to start over again. But why not work as a team right now and bring it home?
Absolutely, and that was well done. We are 10 minutes ahead of schedule. We did a great job. So we do have time to take any questions from the audience. Anything on your mind as we think about hemp beverages?
Or something you want to point out that we missed?
Is there somebody over here with a question?
Or any other question about wine and spirits with one of the top retailers in the United States?
One of the top. We are the top. Man. Come on, Charlie. There's a break. Yes, sir.
A lot of similarities between e-cigarettes, vapor, and big tobacco, and how that market shifted to hemp cigarette or hemp products and traditional alcohol products. What makes you confident that the FDA will be better at getting regulation on hemp than they were with e-cigarettes and vapor? You've got 300 days or so to put it in place. It's been 15 years, and they're still navigating that challenge.
Well, we're not going to get it. You're so right. If government does one thing, it's not get it right real fast. It's really slow. And that's why we need not 6 months, not 12 months, but what we have now, plus an additional 2 years. It's not going to be easy. But when we have this group together, a big organization of wholesalers and retailers in 50 states, speaking with one voice, we're going to have a lot of pressure, a lot of folks poking to get it right. And I don't think that was the case in the vapes, et cetera, et cetera. So we got a lot of people working on this thing, and we're all together on this. Regulation, 10 milligrams, age gated, 2021. Great question, though. Government's broken. We want to quit early, I'll get a brownie.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Something that we see in the hemp industry a lot is misalignment. I would think that we would all be working towards the same thing, but it's been difficult. Where do you see on your side the biggest gap, and how do you think that we can fix that so that we can move towards the right direction and convince our government that we're all good actors in the space?
You really got to focus on education and explain to customers what a hemp beverage is, and that this was allowed by the Farm Bill in 18, as we mentioned, and we got to talk about what the 5 milligram and 10 and what 20 might be and what 50 is. And in my office, I have 20s and 50s and 100s, and I'm afraid to drink that. I don't know what I would turn into, crazy man. But at the end of the day, we got to educate folks who are worried about, cannabis and particularly don't like cannabis maybe, and don't understand that this is low dose and it's consumable as another adult beverage, highly regulated, in just like wine, beer, and spirits are. So it's education, and that's what we've been trying to do here at the convention, is meet with all the major wholesalers and explain to them that we're trying to be one big team, one big house with one voice, and do it right. And 10 milligrams, age gated, and FDA testing potency levels, those are the things to get it right. Great question.
Yeah.
Charlie?
Yeah, the other comment I would make is because I think when the Farm Bill was passed, no one ever dreamt that some clever person would concentrate that THC, create this product category of adult beverage, and it being totally unregulated, everyone has a different opinion. So yes, I understand why there is an alignment, and that's why it's really important that real leaders in the industry that have a vision for the product in a responsible, smart way do stand up and make sure we do it correctly. Because it isn't perfectly aligned. You have a lot of actors out there, I don't want to call them bad actors, but a lot of actors who think differently about how the product should be used and made and so forth. We need to get that under the tent, and many of them will not come willingly. So we can't help that. We can't worry about them. We have to worry about making sure that we do it in a responsible, correct way, because it's not going away. You cannot put the genie back into the bottle. This is out there, the consumer wants it, so let's build it in a way that's responsible, thoughtful, and meaningful for the category and for our industry.
Nailed it.
Thank you.
There's a call to action here for everyone to, get it done by the summer. You really dumb it down for me. What do we do? Like, who do we contact? What do we say?
WSWA will be getting out what the bill number will be, Senate bill, House bill, when it's going to be coming for a vote. And then you're going to find the best friend, the best contact for each of those senators, Republican or Democrat, in your state, and your people who perhaps are donors, perhaps are fundraisers, perhaps have a neighbor that happens to go to Washington. You're going to call them on the phone, you're going to walk over and have coffee with them, and you're going to say, "God damn, let's get on the same page here. This is a huge industry, and regulation, genie, as Charlie said, is not going back in the bottle. Regulation's the answer, not prohibition, and we need 2 years to get it right."
Okay, there's a template for me, I'll do it.
That's exactly right.
We'll make sure of it.
Hi, okay. Oh, that was loud. So you mentioned Pinot Grigio, soccer mom.
That's
Yeah.
Guilty.
Yeah. Hi, I'm your average hemp drink consumer. How are you, like, from a strategic level? How are you reaching them? What are you guys doing to bring more of my comrades into the stores and in helping educate them? And because we are the shoppers and we can make movements and we can be a voice. So what are you doing strategically to bring us in?
to get us in the building, get you in the building.
To create awareness around the category and create an environment where
We're
they
saying
feel safe.
normalization.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the road we're on. I mean, she got that right on the button. We're on the road where alcohol is normalized in America. And cannabis is becoming normalized in America. And low-dose hemp beverages, we're normalizing that together in America. And that means we talk about it in our ads, all our digital ads, we talk about it in our websites, we talk about it all of our marketing. We have education in the store, 3 milligram, 5 milligram, up. We display it everywhere to teach our people about it. So when you come in, we'll say, hey, have you tried a hemp-based beverages? It's something new we have here in X state. And it wasn't here before, and now it is. And we get you there, and there are different types of flavors too. So the whole flavor profile of hemp-based beverages, they might be lemonade, they might be Arnold Palmer type, iced tea, peach tea, they might be cola, they might be root beer. They're different flavors, and all again very low cal, low carb, and some of them are neutral. And you'll be like a mixer, you'll be like vodka, very neutral. But it's an adult beverage. People will try something different. And Americans, the world's changed. It's going to keep changing. And if we don't keep changing with the world, we're left behind. And the only way change is going to happen is if we make it happen. I mean, we got to get our ass off our seats when this bill comes up, call the right people in Washington and say, for a change, do something for us. For a change. And that's not their specialty.
You know, it's really interesting. I really did a 180 on hemp beverages. I am a wine and spirits distributor. That is actually a competitor. And look, I'll get into this business, but I'm a franchise distributor. I need to make my wine and spirits suppliers happy. What I realized, and thank you, David, was the importance of this to my customers, the retailers. Everyone's business is struggling. And if we don't embrace this, there'll be more and more stores going out of business. If we regulate it and help our retailers in beverage alcohol, there will be more retailers that can support our brands. And then if we do our job right as wine and spirits distributors and suppliers and market and reach the hearts and minds of our consumers, we can get back what we want. So at first I was opposed, now I'm very much for it because we need to protect our retailers, and then in our self-enlightened interest, we need to figure out how to do this business too, and win for our suppliers in the wine and spirits. So I am very supportive of this, and WSWA has embraced it. We will work in partnership to get this over the finish line.
Team effort, but you got to be part of it, because there's 100 U.S. senators, we need 60. It's not easy, 60. House, might be okay. But we got to work that too. Take nothing for granted. 60. So you're going to have to help out with whoever's wired in and connected, or we don't help ourselves. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you.